welcome to Game Crunch, your weekly video game podcast. My name is Mike Anastasia. With me today, we got Brandon.
Hello.
We're here talking about games and things.
Games and things.
Oh, what's on the agenda today?
I played some games and did some things. Shit.
Fancy.
Yeah.
Pokemon Legends ZA had the DLC come out this week too, so I can talk about that. And then the Game Awards. So we're looking at.
Yep.
All right, you ready to get into it?
Yep.
All right, I'll start first because I think the newest thing. So Pokemon Legends ZA, the DLC came out this week. I forget what it's called, Mega Dimensions or something. I don't remember. But anyways, yeah. So, the way this kind of story works, it definitely picks up like right from the end of the story. Like it's a whole new story that takes place after the conclusion of this game, and kind of starts off some new threads there. So, basically, you finished up Pokemon Legends, you kind of resolved that story, and now all of a sudden there's all these mysterious portals opening up over the city. You find this mysterious girl, I think her name's Ansha, if I remember. And she shows up with Hoopa, and it's like, hey, make me some donuts. And you're like, okay, weird girl, whatever, we'll make you some donuts. And then you do, and she's like, all right, I'm just going to walk into this portal now. And you go in there, and there's like, you find like a Mankey, and it's like level like 150 or something ridiculous.
Holy crap.
And they're like, what the hell is going on here? And they're like, this is a Pokemon we would not see here, and it's a really high level. And that's kind of where the premise of the story starts off. There's more of these dimensions popping up with these strange Pokemon, and there seems to be some sort of underlying connection there. There's all these new mega evolutions going on, so you are going through kind of similar to how it was in the main game. You're going through these portals, you're getting points for the activities that they do. They give you some challenges to help, do some research on these portals. At least kind of with where I am right now, there's two different types of portals. One is just, maybe three, I suppose I would say. Four. So one is just kind of like, almost like the areas that they already have in the game with like the wild Pokemon. You kind of go in there and there's a bunch of, wild hyperspace Pokemon that you can go and catch or, do some challenges for. That's kind of one thing.
Okay. That's cool.
There another one that's just kind of like very similar to the battling stuff that they had, at nighttime during the main ZA game. You go in and there's portals that are just kind of like people that want to battle with you. You get some better rewards from doing them. But there's no Pokemon there. So, that's kind of one thing. So there's that. And then the other two portals are either like rogue mega evolutions or side quests. So you kind of get sometimes you'll get ones with side quests in them, which can be, I did one and it was pretty wild. So you never really know what you're going to get. I definitely think there's a lot more variety in the quest types here. So that's kind of nice. They already added a shit ton more side quests to do, just like your normal side quests around the city like you had in the previous game. So they added a lot of those back in there. One other nice thing that really people were thrilled about too was, while they did not change the battling requirement to get the points to get the shiny charm, they added a lot more missions to get more points, so you don't necessarily have to do that 1,000 battles. So
okay,
that is kind of a nice thing there too. But story-wise, I actually think this one's pretty interesting, kind of like the first game. The main game. I thought ZA actually had a pretty good story, and this seems to kind of continue with that. I still think the characters in this game are wonderful, and I think they're really well written. And definitely just like charming and funny too. There's definitely been some moments where I'm just playing this and they'll make some off comments that just make me like laugh. So that's really funny. But kind of the way that this works too, when you go into the hyperspace thing. So you got to make these donuts. That's kind of the big things. You collect berries as you go through the game. You collected them even through the main game. And you use those with this girl to help make these donuts. And these donuts, basically, the more calories that are in the donuts or the special type of berries extend the amount of time that you can spend in these hyperspace dimensions. So, basically, like once you go in, depending on how many calories you give Hoopa, like that clock is counting down. And once you get to 0, like you're out. Doesn't matter what's going on. Doesn't matter if you're mid battle. Doesn't matter if the Pokemon ball is tilting and about to catch. Like if you hit 0 before anything's done, you are done. Like it does not matter.
Mm.
So it's pretty I know the time requirement there has been off-putting to some players because you have to be really good with time management and really go through things like that. I do not find it to be restrictive personally, but people who are looking for like shinies or things like that that might require some more resetting and time management, those have been a little bit more. Those players have been a little bit more frustrated because there's a lot more that's kind of goes into there too. There also is some RNG element that goes into the donuts, so you can put the same berries into a donut and get a slightly different one with slightly different boosts and effects. Um, the donuts you make are a lot like the sandwiches that you would do in Scarlet and Violet, where it's like, oh, you make this sandwich and it increases the odds of finding a shiny Pokemon, or increases your catch rate, or increases your damage, like all those kind of things. So,
Mhm.
definitely some thought can be put into what berries you're using. And as you progress the story, you can make donuts with more berries. So you start off being able to only make donuts with 3 berries, and I think it gets up to a maximum 8. I am not there yet, but it definitely ticks up from there. Um, but yeah, I mean, I really have been enjoying it so far. There's definitely a lot to kind of see and do here. There's a shit ton of legendaries not legendaries, mythicals in this game that I did not even realize. Um, with this. So if you were like a Pokemon collector and you're like, oh, I wish I had some of these mythicals that they just did limited events for and they're difficult to get. If you get the DLC, there's your opportunity there. But on the flip side too, even if you don't, they should be more available for trading because people will have more of them, more of an abundance of them. Which is nice because in the past, mythicals have been really limited to the events as they go on. And so kind of like what they've been doing over the last couple of years, they've been doing kind of special things to help make them more accessible to people that may not necessarily have been able to get them in the past. And this gives them the opportunity to catch up themselves and do all sorts of things with it. So I've been really enjoying that aspect of it. The new Mega Evolutions that I've seen have been pretty cool. I love Mega Evolutions. I think they're a lot of fun. So it is nice to see, some of the new designs that they have had with this one. I liked a lot of the designs I've seen so far. I've been pretty happy on that side of things. So that's really good there.
Okay.
They also added a lot more like new TMs and things to spend those mega crystals on that you get all over the city. You definitely get an abundance of them in the DLC. They are not hard to come by suddenly, so it is very easy to max out that number.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're not paying attention, it's always good to kind of check and see where those levels are and make sure you're spending them pretty regularly. But I've had a lot of fun with it. I think it's pretty good. I still have a lot to do. I think I've only, my guess is I'm probably about halfway through with like the story, but there's still a lot of content to explore, and there's like post game stuff too. So we'll see. I mean, I'm sure I'll be talking about this again, over the next week or so, as things kind of go there. But do you have any questions? Anything you wanted to know about it?
Nope, absolutely not.
Okay.
For this is something that I'll end up playing eventually, probably, because I've heard other people say that it's pretty interesting and different.
Yeah, definitely. I would describe it like that. And it seems to be pretty meaty too. So there's definitely a lot of content here. Like I have so many side quests on my map now, like I'm almost overwhelmed. I'm just like, okay, there's like 20 now all of a sudden. And so just kind of going through and starting those. And some of them are, easy things, but then some of them are like, hey, this takes a lot of work and you're going to be working on this for a while. So it's kind of nice, the new variety there. So hopefully you get a chance to do that and check that out at some point. But like I
yeah.
said, I'll be talking about it again over the next couple weeks. The only other thing I played this week, Wario World surprisingly came out for NSO this week, just unexpectedly. It wasn't even announced as a potential like GameCube release, although obviously suspected because it's a mascot platformer brawler.
This one was not expected. Let's not even kid ourselves here. This one
I
was
mean,
not.
it's a Wario game. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't expect it.
It's a Wario game made by Treasure that hasn't been even mentioned by Nintendo for like 20 years.
Okay, I mean they've talked about it more and then or referenced it or different things.
They have? Where?
Huh?
I said where?
Where what? Where what?
Where has Nintendo referenced this game?
I mean, I don't even have to look. I'm sure Sakurai's referenced it in Smash Brothers multiple times, I'm sure.
So the
Let's
game
see.
that references everything, but like not from Nintendo themselves, because that's what I was asking.
But
Where
not
does
what
Nintendo?
well wait, what is your question then?
All right, let me try to paint this picture out for you.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned the games that they showed when they were
Yeah.
talking about GameCube games in the future.
Mm-hmm.
We've also had elements where we've had like, oh, this is a celebration of Mario. Oh, this is a celebration of Yoshi. Yeah, da, da, da. But we never talk about Wario. We never do. There's no like year of Wario. There's none of that. Wario doesn't even get mentioned ever, really. That's why I was like, where has Nintendo even remotely mentioned Wario?
I mean, I'm not sure about this game specifically, but I mean, it's not like Wario is an unpopular character,
No, but I feel
and
like this game's so niche.
no, it's
Um,
not so niche. It's just not
it,
really well known. I mean, this is I mean, I would say if you looked at Nintendo's first party GameCube titles and you did not think that this would be released, like I mean, like there's definitely ones that we talk about that like our wish list. Like we keep talking about Eternal Darkness. Like that one's pretty like low on the totem pole. But like I said, like a well reviewed um game platformer brawler starring
was
Wario.
was Wario well reviewed? And the serious question, I don't remember this one being so well
Um,
received.
I don't think it was poorly received. Let's see what there is. Is it about critic reviews on Metacritic have it at about 71. User score has it at about 8.
Hmm.
So, yeah. I mean, I think that's very reasonable scores. I love this game. I have no complaints. I'm very happy.
I don't have
I was
anything.
very
I
surprised
don't
with
have
this
anything
today.
to complain about this game, right?
Mm-hmm.
I actually think this game is very good. What I was going to say is, I didn't think we would see it, but I've
Mm-hmm.
been noticing a pattern, which is really funny, and I am actually going to literally say this right now.
Yeah.
We are getting games released on NSO that are
Mm-hmm.
really expensive games, physical, and then it's like they plummet in price. It's actually kind of funny.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much every single GameCube game. Um, yeah, I mean, pretty much as they keep releasing them, they're going to keep killing those prices. So, I know once Fire Emblem comes out, people are going to lose their fucking minds.
That's true. That
Uh,
thing will go down to like what 150 from 300.
oh yeah, at least it will.
But anyway,
Um, yeah. Um,
no, I think the game is good. I don't have anything bad to say about the game. I didn't think a platformer beat 'em up by Treasure would be a game that would get put on the GameCube, like GameCube subscription service before, say, several other games. You know what I mean?
yeah. I mean, Nintendo works in mysterious ways. Um, but I mean, like I said, I think this is a great game, and especially being one of their kind of core franchises. I mean, I'm not surprised that that's there. So the bigger surprise was just that they were just like, oh yeah, stealth release. We're not going to put
Yeah.
out the other stuff that we've already announced.
I
Here's
actually
Wario
saw
World.
a really funny thing about the stealth release. Earlier that morning, they announced N64 games. So
Yeah,
someone commented on, someone made a tweet, and they wrote, "I guess that just means we aren't getting any GameCube games this month, so they already put out the N64 games." Well, that sucks. Literally 5 hours later, they put out the trailer for Wario, and then someone did a community note on the tweet that just said Wario World. That was all it said.
yeah. And the funny thing is, I did see something similar kind of on the same day where they're like, oh, Nintendo's only been updating NSO for one system a month lately. We got
Mhm.
N64 games. Guess we're not getting anything else. And yeah, and then there it was. I don't even remember what the N64 games were. I didn't care. Then I
Tonic
saw
Trouble and
Wario
Rayman
World, and I was
2.
like, hell
Both
yeah.
games are also very good. I highly recommend playing those.
What was it? It was something? Was it one of them Glover? I
I
think.
just named
Or
no,
no, it
I
was
just named both
Rayman. I
of them.
think.
I just I just named both of them. Tonic Trouble and Rayman 2.
Hmm.
Both
I
of
don't
those
even know what
games are
Tonic
awesome.
Trouble is.
It
I.
is a mascot platformer, but not an actual mascot for anything. So
Mhm.
just a platformer. But it was weird. It's a fun game.
Oh yeah, I definitely don't know this game. I've never seen this before in my life.
It's a very fun game. I would actually recommend trying it out if you've never played it.
Well, maybe one of these days. I have it available now, so
You
why
do.
not? Um, But anyways, yeah, I didn't really, it was just about to be like, well, it's already been playing. And I was like, well, you know what? I didn't actually talk about Metroid or not Metroid, Wario World at all. Yeah, so Wario World, it is a brawler from Treasure that we spoke about. It is
Yep.
a short platformer brawler game. It is really maybe like 6 hours long.
Yep.
Um, but it is fun. It is snappy. It is quick. It's got great boss battles. It's got fun music. I think if you like that kind of game, you should have a lot of fun with it. And it's got things to go through and collect in each stage, like treasures and these fairy things and some health upgrades. And yeah, you just kind of work through. I think there's something like 8 stages or something like that. It's not a terribly, like I said, not a terribly long game. It's like 4 worlds with like 2 stages each in a boss battle.
Hmm.
And each stage ends with kind of like a mini boss, and then you kind of have like a big boss at the end.
Yep.
Um, yeah, it's a lot of fun though. I really like it. Definitely recommend. Like I said, if it's your cup of tea, check it out. You got it on NSO now, so you don't really have any excuses. Um, but it's a nice, easy game to play. I think unlike some other GameCube games we talked about previously, I do think that this one works really well with the GameCube controller or with just your regular Joy Cons.
Hmm.
So that all looks really well, and it looks nice. It plays nice. Yeah, check it out. Otherwise, though, that's really all I've been playing this week.
Okay.
What have you been
I
playing?
I played Arc Raiders.
Hmm.
So there is this thing that they have called expeditions in Arc
Hmm.
Raiders, and essentially, this game has changes like you would have any live service game. So
Hmm.
character balance patches, changes to skills and abilities and everything. And I ended up specking into this one skill tree that, although I do like it, isn't as good as it once was.
Hmm.
And the expedition is a chance to reset your character. So
Okay.
you lose all your blueprints, which are things you find out in the world that allow you to craft items, like make certain guns and certain weapons and stuff. You lose all of your quest progress, all of this stuff. All of it goes back to zero, but you also reset all your entire skill tree, so you could start over from the beginning and respec your character the way you want it to be. Um,
Hmm.
you had to do certain things to get to this point. So I had to gather a ton of materials and put them into this rocket pod, essentially. And the last part that I've been working towards the last few days um, is you have to get about $5 million worth of items
Oh, jeez.
and bring them back and extract with them successfully
Hmm.
so that you get the 5 extra skill points. You get
Hmm.
extra skill points for every $1 million you have in your stash when you do the reset. See, most games of this variety, they force a reset every few months, but this game is allowing people to make the decision on if they want to reset. And if you reset, you get new cosmetics for free for doing so, for yourself and for other elements of the game. You get a 10% bonus on XP earned. You get a 10% bonus on crafting and repairs.
Hmm.
So there's a reason to do it, and I messed up my skill tree that I want to reset, as I've already said. But on top of that, I want to get the free cosmetic outfit, as well as I don't have all of the blueprints. I don't have a lot of blueprints, actually. So I thought doing the first reset and getting the free items immediately, and also getting the XP buff immediately, and if I'm able to get the 5 million points, the extra skill points that I can get immediately is going to put me in a good place so that when I go through my second time, it'll be a lot smoother of an experience. And that's kind of
Hmm.
where I'm at right now and what I'm working towards at the moment. It
Okay.
resets on the 17th, so by the time this is out, it will already have happened. And then they have these reset options. You don't have to reset, but you have the option to do so every 60 days going forward.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm going to do it the first time just to see what it's like and also to reset to scratch. So, yeah, I had a lot of fun playing Arc, my first character before the reset. And to give you a little bit of an idea, my current playtime in that game is 84 hours, which is a
Okay.
lot for a game of this variety, because normally I do not connect or like extraction shooters. I've played a lot of them and I don't really like them that much, but this one, it's very different, as I've already told you before in the past. And I actually had another example of it being very different. So one of the things you need in order to reset your character is 5 humidifiers, and I could not find them. And I was
Mhm.
walking throughout the entire map with my chat button turned on, and I said, "Hey, please do not kill me right now. I have nothing on me. I am only looking for humidifiers. If someone has one and you don't need them, I really need them because I want to reset this character because I spec'd incorrectly. Could someone please help me?" By the end of the round, I had 3 people standing on the roof above me, and I'm like, "Oh god, I'm about to die. Here we go." Because I'd
Uh-huh.
actually gotten 1 humidifier, and I just hear the guy queue up his mic and say, "Hey, are you the one that was looking for the humidifiers?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "I heard you halfway across the map like 15 minutes ago. I've been following your voice since then, trying to find you. I've got 2. Here you go." And bro dropped me 2 humidifiers that he found. And then another guy comes around the corner. He's like, "I've got one too." And he dropped me one. So then I only needed 1 more. So I only had to go 1 more drop to get the ending of that one. But it was a really neat experience that someone was actually stalking me, not to kill me and take my stuff, but to help me out. So
Mhm.
again, another one of those experiences, which have been an absolute blast when I've had them. So yeah, really fun, really fun.
That's great. Yeah, I know you've really been enjoying this game.
hmm Moving on from that,
Mhm.
I also played Unbeatable,
Uh-huh.
which is a rhythm game, but it's kind of different the way the rhythm works. So it's got like a mix of different kind of rhythm games. So it's got the 2 to 4 button rhythm game where it's like, hey, you press this button to hit up and you press this button to hit down, and vice versa and everything. But then it also has like a pretty extensive story. So when I first started the game, I woke up in like a meadow, a field, and this one girl was there, and she saw that I had a guitar, and she was like, "Hey, come on, I need to hide you because this game music is illegal, and you can't play music in this world." And it's kind of keeps its like cards close to its chest as to why. Uh, I found out in the first chapter the reason why is because it summons these demon monsters, and they're called the Silence. And the only way they don't show up is if there is quiet. But if you
Mhm.
like do something like play a lot of music or like have a concert or something, then the world becomes overrun with them. But then also in the story mode, they have like these little WarioWare like mini games sometimes where it'll be playing music and then it'll turn into something like Rhythm Heaven where you have to like hit something to the beat as it's being like done at the time in the game. And it's really fun. It's like a mix of multiple rhythm games in the story mode, and the main game is essentially the 2 to 4 button press version of of rhythm games, and it's really fun. The story is really good too so far, so I like
Oh,
it.
great.
We like before, so every chapter is broken up as like an episode. There's like
Mhm.
even like a credit sequence, like you're watching a TV show, and like after the first episode, I was literally thrown in jail, and then all of episode 2 was us trying to find a way to break out of jail. And there were 2 people that were also in prison with us who were the ones that got framed for what we did. The only reason
Okay.
we were in jail is because we broke into jail to try to break them out because we felt bad about them being framed for our crime. So, like, when they found out that, we were like, "Hey, we're here to get you out," and they're like, "Yeah, and how did that go for you?" Because we got arrested while we're in jail also, and we were like, "Not so good." They're like, "Why did you try to come to get us out anyway? Didn't you see what we did?" And then my character's like, "You didn't do that." They're like, "How would you know that we didn't do that?" And they kind of put 2 and 2 together and like, "You're the one that did it, aren't you?" And then I went into music mode where it became like a fist fight, but like I was playing Guitar Hero to like fist fight these people.
Mhm.
And it's really weird the way it works, but it's a very good game, and I quite like this game a lot. I think it's very well made. So, yeah, that's what I was playing this week. Those 2 games.
Yeah. All right. You ready to get into your Game Awards thing?
Yeah. Let's talk about the Game Awards because I mentioned this before we started. I think you guys are vastly underestimating how much there is to talk about the Game Awards here because you're looking
Okay.
at it from a surface level and not understanding the many issues that the Game Awards had this year. So let's talk about that.
Okay.
All right. So we had Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic as the opener, pretty much, of what we got
Uh-huh.
as an announcement for the Game Awards. But
Yeah.
this game, like some people are claiming it won't even be released till like 2030. So we're already falling into the trap of why announce games if they're not coming out for like 5 fucking years. There's no reason to do that, you know?
Yeah, none at all. Because that game probably
Especially a
been.
Star Wars game. Because remember how many times we've announced Star Wars game and then they got canceled before they got released
Yep. And
because
if
they
I
were so
remember
far out?
too, the studio that is making this is not even been around for like 6 months. So
Yeah.
you don't even know if this studio is going to stay like solid long enough to make this game.
Yep. So that's an interesting thing.
Yeah.
I talked about the statue that had shown up out in the desert
Mm-hmm.
and how people found that it was Divinity. Well, lo and
Mm-hmm.
behold, it was, and we saw an actual trailer for the game, but it was just a cinematic trailer shown at the Game Awards. Um, that was pretty interesting. I thought that looked pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see any of this? Honestly, I don't know if you actually even watched it.
I don't think I watched a single trailer from the Game Awards, to be
Oh, okay,
honest.
okay. So there's quite a few things that were announced at the Game Awards actually. Um, First one I already told you, the Star Wars game, which is Fate of the Old Republic, made by a new company that is comprised of the original creators of Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic. So at least this 6-month team is made up of industry veterans, not just thrown together very quickly and with nobodies that got the license.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one thing I'll say about Star Wars: Fate of the Old Republic that gives me a little bit of hope. It has the original people working on it this time, not just we threw it over here and we figured they would make it. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
there's that. So yeah, Divinity actually had like a really cool little introduction. They were like, "Hey, let's find out what that thing that was out in the desert was," and then they had a bunch of people that were like dressed up, kind of looking like like villagers, like come walking down the aisles and everything. And then like one of them got lifted into the air from being on a wire and everything, and they're floating in the air while they're like flinging around in circles and everything. And the eye appears behind them, and it comes up, and then the lights go out, and then they show the actual trailer after all of that. And it's Divinity. It's as simple as that. It starts with them going to sacrifice a man, who's in like a Wicker Man like thing essentially, and then all the crazy shit goes down, and you know what happened. And then that statue gets created. There was no actual gameplay shown, but there was some stuff talked about today about this game already that
Uh-huh.
is part of the reason that I thought we could have a little bit more of a discussion. So Larian said we will not use Gen AI or AI for our game at all.
Mm-hmm.
However, we will use it to come up with the ideas for our game and the concepts as we're like working through. So like I'm going to describe something, but I'm going to describe it to Gen AI, and then I'm going to present that information on a PowerPoint to my team, and then we're going to look at it and refine it and that sort of thing. And there's a lot of people freaking out about that, and I don't know, like it sounded more like they were going to use it as like a way to present their ideas before they actually got them out on paper so that they could share that sort of thing, and then they were
Yeah,
just
it
going to
sounds
go
like they're
back and
talking more
make it
about
themselves.
placeholders.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I was thinking, like, I don't really think that sounds terrible to try to paint a picture for someone so that then your team can go in and be like, okay, well, I have a general idea of what they were looking for now, so let me design that my way, because it's still being done by humans. So I thought it was really weird that a bunch of people were freaking about that personally. So there's that. Capcom showed that Leon Kennedy is in the new Resident Evil, and it looked awesome. Like, that is still definitely my game that I'm most looking forward to next year.
Yeah, I did
They,
see some screenshots earlier from some old art, and it's like if you turned it upside down, it would say like Leon, and it's like, oh, it's been in front of us this whole time.
yep, yep.
Yeah,
There were 2 Tomb Raider games announced.
yeah.
one that I think is a remake of the original that will be out in 2026, and another one that's its own new thing that will be out in 2027. Keep that number in mind, 2027,
I know
because
there's a lot here
it was
that's
shown
2027.
a lot, almost everything. It was more likely something would say 2027 or 2028 than it would 2026. So a lot of the
Yeah,
stuff they showed off had like no bearings on
anything soon.
anything coming out soon. Like we could be in a new console generation by then. So then, like, what are you gonna do? Gonna just release this game on the new console, but not touch it up and do all the extra bells and whistles? No, you're not. So you're gonna push your game back further than that. So like then you go into the 2029, 2028,
Yeah.
2030, that sort of dumb shit. And it's like, come on, what are you guys doing here?
Yeah,
The one thing
so
that sorry, go on.
I would say Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis, that's the remake of the original game.
Yes.
Tomb Raider Catalyst, that one is the new game.
Yeah,
So,
correct.
and that one's
Yeah.
2027.
And Legacy of Atlantis is 2026.
Yes.
Then there was the one thing from the entire Game Awards that I think was the best thing that was shown, and it was Control Resonant, which is a sequel to Control, where you play as Jesse Faden's brother, but it looks like it's made like Devil May Cry now instead of like a third-person shooter. So it looks like we're jumping into a new form of combat and a new gameplay style. It looked really good. Like this is my standout from the entire show, honestly.
Okay.
And that, luckily, is 2026. So actually comes out next year. So don't have to wait long for that one.
Yeah.
Soros was shown, and honestly, it just looks like, still to me, a more generic version of Returnal. And I'm not really as excited for it as I thought I would be. There is
Okay.
some video footage, very little of it, shown for the new Mario Galaxy movie. I mean, there's a lot of stuff here that just was a whole bunch of nothing burgers. We spent a lot of time on stuff that really, really didn't matter, and I think that was one of my big major problems with it.
Yeah, it's so fucking bloated.
It's very bloated with not a whole lot to show for the bloat. I will say, when Capcom showed up and showed some stuff, it was cool as fuck. Most of their stuff they showed was really neat. We saw Pragmata, which is the new game that's coming out with the little girl that we've been seeing since, I think, 2021, 2022, somewhere in there.
It's getting an amiibo, too.
It's getting an amiibo, it's getting a release date, and since you now already cat's out of the bag, it's getting a Switch 2 port, day and date, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So
that's pretty surprising. I guess I'm buying a weird girl amiibo. So
I guess so.
Yeah.
Surprisingly,
I saw some people online that are like, "This is where I draw the line on amiibo." I'm like, "This is the one. This is where it was." I'm like, "Okay, whatever. Guess everyone has their own lines."
I mean, maybe they didn't want to own a tiny girl and put her on their shelf, and they might feel weird about it. That could be a thing,
Yeah, I guess so.
The original creators of Yakuza, whose name I cannot pronounce to save my life right now.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if I can remember how the fuck it's pronounced. I'm gonna actually look it up. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Toshihiro Nagoshi. Anyway, he basically said, "Screw you, Sega! I'm making my own Yakuza," which is a new game called Gang of Dragon.
Okay. I did see that, and I was like, "Is this a Yakuza game?" So that explains a lot.
So no, it's not. It's a new IP that he has gone to make with his own new studio that he's creating. I believe it might even be independently developed specifically by him.
Okay.
Apparently, he didn't like a lot of the steps that Sega were taking, which I agree. A lot of Sega's recent choices lately have not been good, especially for the Yakuza brand. And he said, "Nope, I quit." And then he went and made his own studio. And his own studio is just literally called Toshihiro Nagoshi's studio. That's it. That's a studio name. It's his name and then a studio. That's it.
Okay.
So there's that. And yeah, he made something that looks like a mix between Yakuza and Sleeping Dogs, and I'm totally here for it. So
okay.
It looks kind of like a John Woo film, to be completely honest, and it looks sick. So we got that coming in the future. The Forest 3 was confirmed, and The Forest has always been a game about zombies and everything and whatnot, surviving in a forest against, not zombies, cannibals, surviving in a forest against cannibals and all these weird um, experiments. The Forest 3 is a space game, so very far out there, very, very different from the original two games. So, okay. Don't know how that's going to go.
Yeah.
Sega was hyping up what they were going to show at the Game Awards, and it was just Total War Warhammer 4000, like 40K, 40K, not 4000. Sorry,
Yeah, I think a lot of
Total
people
War
were
Warhammer
expecting some big
40K,
Persona announcements or
or
nothing.
Sonic, or something, but there was nothing. The designer of Left 4 Dead has a new game that looks like a ripoff of 3 other free-to-play games that I've played this year. So there's that. J.J. Abrams' Bad Robot Company is working together with the original creator of Left 4 Dead, Mike Booth, and they made a game called For Loop, which is kind of like Live, Die, Repeat meets Once Human. And honestly, I could not be any less interested in this game. It did not look good at all.
Okay, fair.
But who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
A new cyberpunk-like game called No Law looked really good, actually. And I think what you'll notice about a lot of the games that were announced here that looked good and that actually had like a premise that didn't look like the same as everything else is they were independent games. But they were independent games made by someone that made a game that was not independent before. So there's that. This game is called No Law, and it kind of looks like Cyberpunk mixed with like Blade Runner and shit like that. It looks sick. This one looked cool as fuck. It had like some Deus Ex vibes, some Cyberpunk vibes, some Blade Runner vibes. Looked really cool. I'm pretty interested in that one. I'm just scrolling through a few other things. The creator of The Witness and Braid showed off his new game. It's like 250 hours long. That's what I think it said, and I think there's 1,400 puzzles. And it's like an open world puzzle game, but you jump from like block to block and do different puzzles, but those different puzzles can wrap back around into other puzzles, and they're like on quadrants, and it's weird. It's very weird, but I also just can't quite grasp what they're trying to do here. So it looked cool. Another thing that we saw a ton at the Game Awards were the best way to explain it is It Takes Two, A Way Out, or Split Fiction likes. There were a lot of games trying to be exactly like those three, doing the whole split down the middle. One person has one side of the screen, one person has the other side of the screen. They do different things. Working in a co-op game has to be multiplayer. You can't play the single player, that sort of deal. And we saw a bunch of different ones from different companies that were shown off during this. I think I counted 3, if I remember correctly. One of them looked really, really good, but I don't really know. It's weird that we're getting stuff like that.
Okay.
Because like those games are very unique, you know? So like when a new one comes along and it's made by the people that made It Takes Two or Split Fiction or whatever, it's like, oh cool, we get to see what their next idea is, you know, for a game in this genre. But now other people are trying to do that, and it's like, don't oversaturate this one. This one was special, you know? It kind of feels that way.
Yeah.
It just left a bad taste in my mouth. But one of them did look really good, and I don't remember what it was called, but it was like very like 90s cartoon, 90s anime theme, like had some Voltron, had some Dirty Pair feeling in there. That's an old anime from the 90s and 80s. And Voltron obviously is Voltron. But it was like It Takes Two mixed with that. And it looked really cool. It looked pretty neat, honestly.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking through like different trailers, but I have no clue.
The thing you will see here in a lot of these trailers is, damn, why is everyone using Unreal Engine 5, and why do so many games look the exact same as the other 6 games in this list? And that's a big problem there. Oh, it was called Orbitals, by the way, the game I was trying to think of. Orbitals.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you because I just scrolled to that trailer.
Yeah, that one's cool. That's the It Takes Two like. But I want to take a step away from all these trailers and everything because, you know, That's what we always talk about with the Game Awards, and I wanted to talk about the actual Game Awards for 1 second
Mhm.
themselves. Um, so as you know, every category almost went to um, Clair Obscur Expedition 33, and it
Yeah.
deserved it. It does deserve it. I think it is an incredible game. I think everyone should give it a try. Everyone should play it because it is a fantastic game. And a lot of people now are like, I'm never playing this game because it won so many awards. And my initial
Yeah.
thought was, why didn't you feel that way about Last of Us Part 2 or any other game that's done this in the past? Like, I don't get it. Why is it this one that's made you do this? The
I'm
one where
sure
the
people did that
team
with the last one too. I think
they
people always turned
they
off by those things.
absolutely did not. It's because it's a turn-based RPG that people don't actually give a fuck about it. But it's also because it's a game made in Unreal Engine 5 that people don't give a
Uh-huh.
fuck about it. And I also noticed during this entire showcase there were just so much Unreal Engine 5. Was this the same game that I just saw a few minutes ago, or is this a different game? So on and so forth. And then the other thing that really stuck out about this entire thing was the final reveal, which was the antithesis of like what Jeff Keighley does all the time, where he hypes up something like this is going to change the world, that sort of deal, and then it's
The
like
antithesis,
Nick
what are you
said
talking about? He
last
always does this
eh,
shit.
except this time it was for the new game by the creators of Titanfall that is just a hero shooter called High
I mean,
Guard.
was it
And that was our
the
final reveal of the night, and it was really really bland looking. But even
yeah, I
more so
mean,
than
the
that,
year, what was it, last year or the
it's a
year before
game.
was a fucking movie. I don't know what you're talking about. I think of
No,
that
no,
Jeff
no, no,
Keighley's.
no, 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 no. Last year was Okami 2, and he gets a pass for that one. So you
Well, then the
shut
year
up.
before was a movie.
You're
So,
probably right. You're probably right. Yeah,
I remember one of them explicitly ended on a movie, and
I
I don't
don't doubt
remember which
that.
one it was. Hmm.
I don't doubt that. But like, this is the most nothing burger game ever. It's a PvP raid shooter with hero abilities and blah blah blah. It's like if you put all the buzzwords into a hat and picked them out one at a time and then just made a game. That is what this game looked like. But even
Hmm.
more so, he did want to preference something. And that's what brings me to one of my major points back around to it is he was like, many times when I show you our final reveal for the night, it's something that is very far out. This game releases in 4 weeks.
Hmm.
So this is a game made by the creators of Apex Legends and Titanfall, who went off to make their own game apart from the company that has been in development for a while that no one knew about. So,
Hmm.
even though I don't give a shit about this game and I don't think it looks good in the least bit, I do think it is interesting that this is something that was kept under wraps for so long and no one knew about it. And I think that's cool that they can just, almost shadow drop a brand new game. I just wish it was something I cared about. And that's
Yeah.
that's the problem. Like I will probably still try this because I'm a sucker for these sort of things and I always try to give them the benefit of the doubt, but this looked so boring. It
Hmm.
almost looked like it was AI generated because it looked like you just put a bunch of prompts in and it's like, I have made game now. Here you go.
Hmm.
And it's a shame because I do know these developers are really passionate, so it probably will be a good game. But my thoughts, as well as many other people's, is like this just doesn't look. So, yeah, and
Yeah.
yeah, there was another thing that I thought was really cool that was announced that I did skip over. So, and again, it is because we have no real information on it. People are saying 2026, but I don't know. And it was another Star Wars game. It was Star Wars Pod Racers made by the Burnout devs. That sounds awesome. I don't care who you are. That sounds awesome because the Burnout devs make incredible games, and they also tend to do pretty well when it comes to actually releasing things on time. So I'm kind of excited to see what happens there. And then I'll say I think the best thing that was here, aside from Control, which I saved for last because I skipped over so much stuff here, was the announcement of a new Mega Man game. They announced a new
Hmm.
Mega Man game, and they did it in a really cool way that was very fun. Like they had a whole orchestra and everything. And I'm sitting here and I'm thinking to myself, why didn't you just like slip around some of these announcements? Like have have these other games and things be like the start. Like have your main thing that you went with, which is the game from the developers of Apex Legends and Titanfall 2. If you opened with that, I don't think people would have been quite as mad. If you closed with something like the new Mega Man game or the new Control game, I don't think people would be quite as mad. And that's the main thing here. I think the pacing, how much this was stretched thin, and just how much stuff they packed into it at the same time, where it felt bloated while also being stretched thin. It was a mess. It was an absolute mess. And yeah, a lot of people realized this year that this one just was kind of meh. And then people started dissecting the past years, being like, yeah, they've all been that way. And for the most part, some of them have, and most of them have. But like, we've had some good ones. I do think last year's was actually quite good, but this year's was just awful for the most part. There's some
I'm pretty sure
bullshit.
we complained about last year's as well.
I'm
I do not remember us ever talking favorably on the Game Awards after it's aired. I mean, I'm just looking through like people's comments from last year, and they're like, "Oh, why the fuck was this 4.5 hours long? That's way too long. It's so bloated."
Yeah. You know what? I'm looking at some of the stuff announced from last year, and I think you're right. There's not that much here, like at all.
Yeah,
Yikes! I don't know. I always feel like it gets worse every year.
yeah, it does because it gets more corporate every year. And I mean, now that they're charging what, like 3 million for just like a 1 minute trailer on this thing?
That's it. So it's 3 minutes for a million, or
Oh, I
60
got my
seconds
numbers.
for 350K, which is
Oh,
still
dyslexia.
insane. Insane.
Yeah.
Okay, so apparently Intergalactic was announced last year. Witcher 4 was announced last year. Night Rain was announced last year. Borderlands 4 was shown off last year. Okami sequel was shown off last year. New Mafia game was shown off last year. First Berserker Kazan was shown off. Last of Us Part 2 PC release. Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth PC release. Slay the Spire 2, Split Fiction, Project Century. There's a lot of good stuff that was shown last year. That's the most I can really say. There's a lot
I
of
mean,
good stuff shown last year.
but I mean, the thing is, like, yeah, you can show good things. It doesn't mean it's a good presentation.
No. They don't ever have a good presentation. I was just looking at the trailers because, like, all right, let's player's choice this year. Player's
Mm-hmm.
choice this year. You had Dispatch, which apparently people absolutely love this game. You had Expedition 33, which took home 10 awards or 11 awards. It's tied for the most awards ever given at the Game Awards
Mm-hmm.
right now with Last of Us Part 2. You had oh my god, what was all the Players' Choice Awards votes? Hold on. There we go. Player's Voice, that's what it was. Okay. Yeah, you had Expedition 33, you had you had Dispatch, you had Hollow Knight Silksong, then you had Genshin Impact and Withering Waves. Withering Waves won by, bribing everybody to vote for it. And it's just like, man, this fucking sucks. This isn't the player's voice. This is quite literally the big corporate voice instead.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to bribe people for this, that, and the other. And it sucks. It sucks a lot. It sucks so hard. And yeah, that was kind of a takeaway of a lot of the stuff going on with the Game Awards. It's like, okay, this feels very corporate. This feels very, what are we doing here? So, yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that's it. I think that these are all. I know people get all excited for them as they come up, but this is not E3. This is not the TGS. It's
Mm-hmm.
not anything. It's literally just turned into a marketing thing, especially when they're starting to show trailers for like 2027 and beyond.
Yeah, that's
That's
insane.
ridiculous. Yeah, there's no reason this show needs to be like. I saw even on YouTube, a video came up for me that was like, "Hey, here's all the trailers unveiled at the Game Awards," and it was like an hour and a half fucking long. I mean, yeah, that's great. That's what people want to see, but like if you are doing an award show, like narrow it down. Like don't take millions of dollars from everyone. Just take it from like a few and like trim it down to an hour and have like some awards. Like I mean I know it's unrealistic what I just asked for, but like
Mhm.
it's a lot. Um and like I said, I think I don't know. I feel like in some ways, I think that the Game Awards is not beneficial to the industry in some ways. I think it's good for some games because obviously, it's going to help spur sales. Like Claire Expedition 33 has had some of their best sales um, since winning Game of the Year, so that's
Mhm.
great. It really brought a lot of attention to that. But I really just don't see the value kind of otherwise. I don't know. That's just me. Um, like I said, I just think it's just a lot of fluff without a lot of substance. I think is how I would say, and especially this year too. Like it sounds dumb, but it's definitely more enjoyable to talk about it when there's like controversial, like maybe awards here. But I mean, this year very clearly, Claire Expedition 33 was the winner. It is easily, excuse me, easily the best game this year. Um,
Yeah. But
so
like
there's
that was another thing because you just said, oh, it's not that interesting when it's like. But if like something is the best of the best, then shouldn't it be treated as such? I guess that's my other thing because I saw a lot of people complaining about how many awards it got, this, that, and the other, and I'm just like, brother, if it's that good, then it deserves all of its awards. Which Nick, who wasn't here, able to be here with us tonight, pretty much said, hey. Expedition 33 deserved every single award it was given, but this was just the Expedition 33 award show, which is true. But they did go through a lot to create this game. They did a lot. Like they dealt with being at Ubisoft for a very long time and then breaking apart and making their own game with 33 developers and a dog and they took a chance on something. But then there's the flip side where apparently to release it in certain places, they were given a shit ton of money by NetEase. So then people started because you wanted controversy. Here's the big controversy of this Game Awards because there is one. There's a huge one. A lot of people say Expedition 33 is not an indie game. Also, a lot of people say this game is a setup. Like it's a really good game made by very passionate people, but the industry isn't putting these people on a pedestal because of the game. They're putting them on it to send a message.
Mhm.
And that message is, hey, you corporate assholes and that sort of thing. This is what you can let teams do instead of making them be regulated to the same thing over and over and over again. A lot of people think because there's some things that are out there about Expedition 33 that I've been seeing after this award show. Like somehow they were given $10 million to make this, which is
Okay.
crazy.
Mhm.
They had a bunch of companies rallying behind them, but a lot of people think that it wasn't just because, hey, we believe in you. It was more of a way of, hey, the AAA industry has been bad for us overall in general. Because if you look at things like there's a trend that happened last year where they quite literally were talking about all the layoffs, all the bad shit that's been going on with the industry and whatnot, and how it's gotten out of hand and people aren't able to make what they want because of these big corporations and shit like that. And a lot of people now are starting to assume, after looking further into Expedition 33, that they found a game that was very good. They put their money behind it to try to change the industry in general because
Mhm.
they're big players in the industry that gave these people like $10 million to make a game. This is just 33 people and a dog that were given $10 million to make an indie title. That's really suspicious. Like it feels like whoever did that, which is NetEase in this example, did it for another reason, not because, hey, let me support you, that sort of deal. It feels really weird, and a lot of people are having like their conspiracy theories about it. Like this was a way to like stick it to the industry after laying off so many people last year by showing that a group of people that went out on their own can make something this big. And then when you look at the weird writing on the wall, although this game is absolutely phenomenal, and I highly recommend every single person play it because it is actually a absolutely fantastic game. It does have a lot of heart, and there's a lot of obvious love for the genre put into this game from the developers that did it. Maybe the people that helped them publish this had less than, you know, they weren't doing it out of the kindness of their own heart, is the best way I could put it, you know?
Although really $10 million in the grand scheme of things for a studio that size is like nothing.
And I don't disagree, but
Mhm.
it's like, why did NetEase do that? Like, I don't really know. I don't know enough about that, and neither does anyone else. So,
Yeah.
like,
But I mean, like, what's the most nefarious thing that they could do?
see,
Profit share?
I don't, no. See, because they're still wholly independent. They are actually independent. And that's my argument. This is an indie game. It doesn't matter that they were given this money by NetEase. They are still an independent
Yeah.
company. They are still, they had no intervention between NetEase and them while making this. They had the ability to make this exactly as they wanted to. So therefore, they are still independent. This is an indie game. This is a very good game, and it doesn't matter. My thoughts are that this was to send a message to the industry to pull back your stupid fucking bloat where you have like $300 million budgets on games, because you
Yeah.
don't need that. And
No.
even if that was the case and that is the message that they were trying to send, I think that's a good message, because
Yeah.
you don't need to spend 300 and 500 and $2 billion to make a game. You don't need to do that, and it's costing people their jobs, it's costing people their livelihoods, it's costing the industry to lose out on these creative thinkers that can make something for a fraction of that price, and it could still be such a massive hit that it was universally acclaimed. That is the only thing that I could see the reason why NetEase gave them this money, as a way to send a message, essentially.
Yeah. I mean, or it could just be just as simple as like, hey, we need a publisher to support us through this. Like I said, it doesn't really have to be anything wild. Like you have what, 33 people, like
Mm-hmm.
you need money to support them.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like you have your own offices and things like that. You got to buy equipment, you got to buy computers, you got to buy office space, you got to be able to pay these people living wages, for X amount of years while you're working on this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't know why people would think that there's anything more in here. And even if like they were like, yeah, we gave them $10 million to support this game because we believe in it, who fucking cares?
Yeah.
It doesn't make them any less independent unless they were sitting in there and being like, okay, well, we don't want you to put this cat person in there. We want a dog. Like, that would be one thing. But like, it sounds like they were able to do what they wanted. They made the game that they wanted. Doesn't sound like there's really any outside influence, and they really did a good job with it. So who fucking cares?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you there. I was trying to brainstorm ideas as to why that may have happened in the first place. And the ideas aren't necessarily bad ideas. I think it's actually good, because a lot of people were like, when you look at something like Expedition 33 and you see that this was made only using 10 million, and you see how beautiful it is, you see the music they done, you see the story they've put together, you see all of this stuff that's here in front of you, your first thought should be, where is like the 300 million for these other games going to? How are they spending that much and then putting out the product that they are putting out, when you can do something like this for a fraction of that cost, for like a fraction of that cost? And it's
Yeah.
just, it's a weird thing to think about. So
Mhm.
I mean, Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to be $2 billion. It's a $2 billion game. That's
Oh, yeah.
insane.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, it feels like it's money laundering. At that point, it literally feels like it's money laundering. So we've seen no gameplay. We've seen nothing. Supposedly, it comes out this year. No, 2026, not
Yeah.
2025. Supposedly, it comes out in 2026, and we've got nothing. Like nothing for this. We've got no real information other than 2 trailers, right?
Mm-hmm.
We don't know anything. And like you've spent $2 billion on this. Now, granted, maybe when the game comes out, maybe that'll be a different story. But
Yeah.
I look at something that's they spent as little as they did, and then I think I can't even fathom what you can do with $2 billion. Like I don't
Yep.
even know if the tech is there to make a game for $2 billion. Like it doesn't make any sense. It just feels like a scam
Mm-hmm.
almost.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what ends up coming out on that. I mean, I think that, assuming there's no giant missteps, based on, their past,
Again,
they'll probably make that money back, but man, it's going to be a rocky road at first.
I just don't get it, man. And like, I think about Spider-Man, like Spider-Man 2, which I think is $300 million, right? And it's
Mm-hmm.
like $300 million for Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2 looks great. Spider-Man 2 plays great. Spider-Man 2 isn't that great of a game. It's okay. It's all right. It's not as good as the first, but there's very clearly a reason that it's $3 million, and it's mostly licensing fees because Disney, right?
Mm-hmm.
How the fuck do you deal with Disney and spend $300 million on a game, and that's not going to be the most expensive game ever made? The most expensive game ever made is 2 billion. I can't even fathom that. Like that doesn't make any sense in my brain.
Well, hey,
It's just weird.
that's where the whole industry's been moving towards. That's like there's very few studios that are like, hey, we should not be doing this ridiculous bloat. Like Sony's gotten sucked into it like what, 2 or 3 times and just in the last year.
Yeah, maybe
Um,
maybe maybe we're about to hit another one with this Left 4 Dead, uh, whatever the loop, four loop. That's the stupidest title for a game ever. Four loop. I mean, uh, who knows what they're putting into that? And then there's the what is it? John Romero. John Romero has been making a fake Left 4 Dead clone for like 4 years now. I see it advertised at every single Game of the Year awards since
mhm.
COVID, and it's like that's not coming out. Like, how much do you pump into that, John Romero,
Yeah.
or is it John Carpenter? Who is it? John Carpenter, Left 4 Dead clone. I'm gonna see if it's this guy. It might be John Carpenter. It's John Carpenter. I said John Romero. John Romero is. I'm getting my Johns mixed up. Uh-oh. Okay,
Uh-oh.
John Carpenter, who is the Thing. That's what that was. John Carpenter's The Thing. That's what I'm
Mhm.
thinking, right? That's a great fucking movie. But like, he's making a game called Toxic Commandos, and he's been making it for like 4 years.
Mhm.
Okay, I guess it's shown off at every new game of the year.
Hey, maybe this will be the year.
And maybe it'll also be the year that I care, but somehow I doubt it.
Hey, you never know. Um, Also, just side note, I did go back through. I found the game of the year where they ended on a
A
movie.
movie.
Yep. I
Was it The Fast and the Furious?
yes. It was the
They
Fast and
also
Furious.
they also showed a game before the movie, and the game was one of the worst games released the next year.
Convergence League of Legends story.
No, I'm talking about the Fast and the Furious game that they showed
Oh.
before the
Hmm.
movie. That's what I was talking about.
Okay. Well, yeah. But yeah, that's what it ended on, and that was that year. It was 2019, so I knew it was recent, but not as recent as I thought it was.
Mhm.
Um, but I remember people were fucking pissed about that, um, which understandable. Nobody wants that to be kind of like especially if you're sitting there for hours and hours just waiting to see what the final reveal is. Like that's like a wet fart.
Yeah, that's nothing. I
Hmm.
mean, that's kind of like what we had this year with High Guard, I think is what it's called, which looks like really bad.
Hmm. Yeah. So that's that. What else on the Game Awards did you have to talk about? Anything else?
Honestly, no, I don't. I don't really have much else to talk about. It was just kind of whatever.
Yeah.
I've talked about the games that actually interested me. Like I said, I'm interested in a new Control. I like the idea of it being, the shared universe that we already talked about before, and them continuing, but with the brother of Jesse. It's cool. I like it, but
Yeah.
yeah,
It is pretty. It's pretty good, and I know you really liked the last one, so hopefully it It
I
holds up.
love Control. I love Control so much.
Aside from Game Awards, and anything else you want to talk about today?
No, I don't.
All right. Yeah, not a lot of news otherwise. I mean, I guess when you have an award show with like 4 hours of trailers, like, yeah, not a lot of other stuff that's kind of announced at the same time. So, yeah. So, that's that. You ready to wrap up then?
Yeah, I think I'm good.
Okay. Well, thank you everyone for listening to us tonight. Don't forget to find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google, Amazon, YouTube, Google, wherever you get your podcasts. Game-crunch.com for all of our old episodes. GameCrunchcast at gmail.com if you want to send us a message. What?
I thought you said Google twice. Google. Game Crunchcast. Google. That's what I heard.
Any final thoughts?
No, I got nothing.
Okay. Well, that said, my name is Mike Anastasia. Find me online on Clash of Penguin there or on your favorite gaming console. Until next week, game on.
Game on.
The moonlight spills on cobblestone streets, echoes of jazz where the shadows meet. An accordion sings, the brass takes the lead. I'm chasing a dream, I'm chasing the speed. Electric hum in the midnight air, glowing eyes, they're everywhere. Game on, it's a battle, mon ami. Through Lumios we run, through alleys and debris. Game on, catch them all and you'll see the city's alive, and the hunter is me. From the prism tower to the cafe's glow, a Pikachu darts its tail in tow. The jazz band swells, the tempo quick, the thrill of the chase, it's magic, it's slick. Cobblestone spark under my feet, every turn's a new heartbeat. Game on, it's a battle, mon ami. Through Lumios we run, through alleys and debris. Game on, catch them all and you'll see the city's alive, and the hunter is me. Game on, it's a battle, mon ami. Through Lumios we run, through alleys and debris. Game on, catch them all and you'll see the city's alive, and the hunter is me. Game on, it's a battle, mon ami. Through Lumios we run, through alleys and debris. Game on, catch them all and you'll see the city's alive.
Neither of us talked about Metroid.
I didn't play any more of it since last week.
Neither did I.
Literally, because we finished the episode, and I was like, yeah, I'm at the end, and I just gotta finish up getting these last items, and I'm gonna go finish it. And then the Pokemon DLC came out, and I was like, well, I should focus on that because I want something new to talk about for the podcast. So I switched gears, and I just haven't come back.
Yeah, Nick finished Metroid, and we didn't.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's good. So maybe he'll come back and have his final thoughts for us at some point.
Yeah.
I hope to finish it this week, but who knows? Let's see. Like I said, I'm really at the end of the game, so it's just a matter of going in and finishing what I was doing. But yeah, I have not literally even turned it on for a second since last episode. Yeah, I just went straight into Pokemon. Well, yeah, actually, I think what pushed me out of the game at first was Wario World, and then Pokemon. So there's that. Also, there's another content update for Hyrule Warriors I saw. It's coming out tomorrow. So, I don't know what all they have planned for that, but
Oh, I have
I wish they
something
were
to say to
trickling
you
out this far.
actually. I gotta. Let me tell you this, okay? So
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna go to my sold. Yeah, here we go. Okay, let me go to my solds. Give me 1 second. So,
Uh-huh.
I just wanted to show you an example of the difference this shortage and game, like like RAM and game consoles and this, that, and the other, and the prices and all that stuff has made.
Oh,
So,
yeah, I'm sure that's ridiculous.
yeah.
I know
So
they were
give me
saying the change in prices it's what was it? They expect the switch to cost to manufacture to increase by like 40%. That's what I
Okay, hold on.
saw.
I got you. This is actually gonna be crazy. Give me 1 second.
Uh-huh.
So let me go through all my solds here, if they'll let me. I think they will. Okay. Yeah. All right. So I sold my Series S, and I'll tell you the date that I sold it on too.
Okay.
Where's my Series S? Oh, I must have sold it in 2023, maybe.
Okay.
I'm just trying to find it. Hold on.
Oh, yeah.
I actually can't find it. Maybe is there a search option here? Damn, I'm really not finding this, am I? What the hell? PlayStation 3, it's Motherboard, 2, bunch of games. Well, I cannot find it, but I know I sold my Series S for like $140, $130,
Uh-huh.
not that long ago, right?
Yeah.
So my father, who can't use his right now, and also refuses to pay for Game Pass, told me,
Yeah.
you can just sell this because I'm not using it right now. I don't need it, and if I need to, I'll just buy another one somewhere down the line. And he's
Yeah.
like, you can just keep the money and you can put it towards Katie's Christmas gift. I was like, okay, cool. So
Mhm.
I sold a Series S, not an X, a
Mhm.
Series S for $255 yesterday.
Wow.
That's a $199 console. But then the
Mhm.
price raised, and I still almost sold it for the raised price point of
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
a used Series S. Like,
Yeah.
that's actually nuts. That is how far the prices have fluctuated now. Yeah, like it is $350 for one on what do you call it? GameStop. It is $400 for a new one on GameStop.
Oh, geez.
It's just insane.